Your match players are ready to go. Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Pittsburgh. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Buehler, and we're ready for round number 12. Randy, we've got 2 undefeated players left out of this 2,600 plus player field, and these 2 gentlemen are the ones. Aaron Webster is playing Affinity, a deck that fans of Modern will be certainly familiar with. Anthony Huynh on the other side, a little less familiar. Throwback to the past here with Faeries.
This can't be a good matchup for Faeries, can it?
No. I would assume not.
Winner not only is the last undefeated in the room, but earns 3 win-and-ins for top 8. The only way the winner misses top 8 is with loss down the stretch. Anthony has brought his own supply of perfect fairy tokens.
Yeah, he's going to bring those ones from home.
Do we still have those in the kit?
I don't think so. No, I don't think we do.
Good thing he brought his own then.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. So he has the turn 2 Bitter Blossom, which I think against most decks he's quite thrilled to have, but kind of helps out Aaron.
He still wants it. Still blocks.
At least for
not
a little
an edge champion, but blocks everything else. All right, in response to the Spell Skite, Anthony wants to go ahead and dispatch with a Signal Pest.
Yeah, disfigure it. Down it goes. But he's got another one. He made some mana with his Springleaf Drum and replaced it immediately.
This is one of the things that's been neat about this Modern tournament. I mean, so many people have obviously come out to play this format that they love. A lot of people who have put a lot of care and love into their decks as well. I see a lot of foil on the left-hand side of the screen right now.
Yes.
I believe this is an all-foil Affinity deck.
That is one of those cool things about the older formats is that since they do tend to shift less often than like your standard environment, you can kind of settle in a little more. You know, I bet you Aaron's been playing Affinity for a long time. You kind of accumulate some of those cool cards too. You know, you have to make those tough decisions like what's the best version of Springleaf Drum, right?
Right.
He's gone for foil original, which I think he's correct.
Makes sense to me.
Kind of the party drum. Right. Ooh, Tar Pit's getting in there.
I mean, what?
I love this.
He has to race that edge champion.
He does. He does indeed.
Like, it's going to kill him in 8 turns, guaranteed. Maybe 7, yeah, because he can get him Signal Pest at least once. So, I mean, it's a clock.
Spellskite's something for Aaron Webster. Probably annoying for Anthony, but not a huge deal. And there's another one, which he's certainly not worried about the second one.
Yeah, the Bitter Blossom is doing work for Aaron, as you point out, but it's also adding to Anthony's offense. Leave the Summoning Sick one on defense against Signal Pest. Chip away for 5? What a weird race. Just the Fairies this time.
Interesting.
Leaving up the 4/4.
Is it a misbind click?
That's what I was thinking. Does not
I don't
look
think
like
it is, though. He's got Mana Leak. And he's just continually taking hits from this edge champion here. Down to 10. Wow, just took a full turn off there. No creeping Tar Pit hit. That could really throw this race math off for him.
He's for 3, and then 4, and then 5. That doesn't quite get there. I mean, how many Tar Pit hits do you have to throw in?
Maybe he only needs 1 additional Tar Pit hit.
I mean, next turn with 1 tar pit, it's an attack for 7.
There's a Ravager.
Yeah.
It's going to get mana leaked, but he can pay, right? Yeah. So he's just going to tap him out. Doesn't really do much here.
I
mean, effectively tapping a Spellskite. It does mean that the Inkmoth doesn't get to get activated. I don't think that was the plan A there for Webster.
Right. I mean, Anthony's holding removal spells that are being shut down by Spellskite. I think he's got at least a Slaughter Pact. He may also have a Dismember in that hand.
Curious to see if he fires off a Slaughter Pact.
Interesting. Well, he's just going to hit a Spellskite.
Yeah.
Anthony could, in theory, have gone for... Or sorry, Aaron could have gone for the kill there with Ravager, but decided not to. Didn't want to eat his Spellskites.
Yeah, the other card in
Didn't
hand
want
for
to eat
Anthony
all his land.
is a Murderous Cut as well. It was not a Dismember, but still 2 spot removal spells.
Yeah.
And both of them can hit artifacts. There's Anthony for you. You see our backup match, which we'll be checking in on as well. See Alexander Hayne over there. He's playing against Andrew Van Leeuwen.
I gotta believe Aaron is gonna move Ravager counters onto the Etch Champion this turn.
You can just kill him.
I mean, he could have killed him last turn, but he didn't know exactly what Anthony had in his hand. He didn't want to... He was either going to have to, you know, he might have to turn off Metalcraft. He might have to eat Spellskites. Like, it was going to be tight to kill him cleanly. He could have done it, but it would have been a little too risky for his tastes. This time, though, what does Anthony do to punish you for moving in on this Etch Champion? There's 2 Spellskites.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any risk here, right?
Nope.
It's just game.
There you go. Aaron Webster takes the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Affinity
Anthony...
over Faeries.
I think so. I think he just needed to pedal to the metal and keep crunching with those...
the tar pits.
The tar pits,
So
yeah.
I think that without the Ravager, he still could have won the race. But that Ravager was going to win the race either way.
Because he could have killed him last turn anyway. Yeah, he may have also miscounted the mana for that mana leak because he kind of slammed it down pretty confidently. And it was like, well, you're not really.
He
getting a
declined
lot.
to attack with Tar Pit in order to leave up mana leak.
Twice.
2 turns.
Yeah. Which I suppose the thinking is just, well, I'm just going to cast this mana leak on anything just to get something out of it, but it doesn't really get you anything there.
I mean, I also think, and Anthony was right here, that he can win the race against what was on the board.
All right, let's check in on our back table here, where we've got Andrew Leeuwen. He's playing against Alex Hayne.
Amulet, Primeval Titan. Do you have anything else we can watch?
Welp. We can watch Alex go through the motions.
Okay. Bubble match, right? These guys have to win out to make top 8. Hayne doesn't get to play Bloom at World Magic Cup, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, it's Team Unified Standard and then
Standard.
Team Sealed.
Yeah. So no.
Team Unified Modern would not be a very exciting format.
No.
What deck do you like?
Not
Great.
super
What deck do you
restricting.
like? Great. Oh, we overlap by like a fetch land.
Yeah. They
Let's
fight over
flip
the
for it.
Gitaxian probes or whatever.
Right.
Path to Exile. All right, that's business.
Well. Jeskai Control? That's what's going on? Speaking of foiled out decks, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of guild symbols highlighted in those text boxes.
Oh, yeah. I don't see any non-foils on the table there. Yeah, you know, Jeskai Control certainly has had multiple runs in Modern where it was quite strong, sometimes even near the top of the list of decks.
Won a Pro Tour.
Yeah. Sean McLaren, but not recently, though.
Yeah. Yeah, even Sean has shied away from it lately. Feels like the metagame is in a spot right now where Jeskai's not great. That said, I mean, Modern's the kind of format where you can have your deck, and if you just know all the matchups inside and out, you can do pretty well. I mean, here Andrew Leeuwen sits at 9-2, you know, playing Canadian national team member, number 10 ranked player in the world, deep in the day 2 of a Grand Prix.
He's going to put Summers Pact on the old stack there. To leave himself a Titan. Does this resolve is the question. That's a lot of open mana for Andrew. It does resolve. Well.
Yeah, once you get one of those into play, the string of Teleria Wests always makes it hard to recover. Hard for the opponent to recover. Double Amulet, lots of mana. He's got Sunholm, but not Slayer Stronghold.
That's a Ghost Quarter next to it, so.
And pick up Teleria West, of course. Transmute Teleria West.
He just hasn't put down his library yet.
Sure.
He's still not putting it down. Casting Pact. This is just funny. He knows if that first Titan resolved, that this one's going to resolve as well. It is funny.
Oh, does he get to get Slayer Stronghold tapped and double trigger with the amulet to give both Titans haste?
Yeah. Yeah, he just gets a Boros Garrison with it. Yeah.
Oh,
how about this?
jeez.
Tap this, give that,
That one and that one. Oh, that's ridiculous.
Pick up a land.
I mean, the double amulet draws are always crazy, and they're always like different crazy. It's like the details of what else you have affect the flavor of craziness that comes out of these double amulet draws.
Yeah, the only thing that's the same is the end.
Titans attacking for the win.
Yeah.
On the spot.
Yep. One dead opponent. All right, let's jump back over to our main match. There's a path here that's going to take out one of these Titans, but it is going to be incredibly difficult for Andrew to recover. So it looks like we've got an Inquisition of Kozilek on the stack here for Anthony. And takes the Steel Overseer.
Wow.
That's
over the
champions.
champion,
Yeah.
the Spellskite, and the cranial plating.
Interesting. He must have answers. Spell Snare for the plating, maybe. Maybe another discard spell that he's going to follow up with, because that Etch Champion's a major issue if it hits the battlefield.
So is cranial plating?
Yes.
I mean, can you really kill everything through a Spellskite?
No. He does have some nice ways to block if he can get another Bitter Blossom down or something. That really does do a lot of work against Affinity. Similar to like playing a Lingering Souls, you know, against them. It's very good. I'm just going to start off with Spellskite.
Sure.
Oh. Oh, no. Oh, there's more? Yeah, nothing else. All right. So Anthony takes Steel Overseer. We're going to start to see what his plan is
Yeah, I'm curious.
moving forward here. Because you better have an answer for the Edge Champion. Or that thing's just going to kill him.
Which means
like
you better
did
have an answer
before.
for the Spellskite. I mean, I guess can Mana Leak it? The Spellskite can't stop that.
Looks like he's got a Snapcaster Mage in his hand, so he can Snapcaster back Inquisition if he's got an untapped land here. And take it away.
Sure.
But that would leave him
Cranial
with the
plating still
plating,
hits.
which is a major issue to say the least. Alex,
Takes the plating.
Did-
Leaves in the Edge Champion.
He took the plating? All right, yeah. Alex Hayne did win that game.
Sure. All right, he's taken everything else out of this draw, but he's left the Etch champion.
Well,
and the Spellskite that can defend it.
You know, he had a chance to take that away. He decided to go for the Overseer as it was a turn sooner, and he didn't have any way to deal with it at all. But now this may come back to bite him because it doesn't look like he's going to have a great answer for the S champion, at least not right now. Spellskite, it's going to gobble up a Slaughter Pact at some point.
Oh, Blood Moon in Aaron Webster's hand.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, if he sticks a Blood Moon, I think that's just it. He didn't even cast it.
Into all that untapped mana, do you want to?
I don't know. It's so important. If you can stick it, it's GG.
I think he's trying to set up a turn where he can play 2 threats.
Kind of overwhelm a potential mana leak holding or something from Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, he saw a lot of permission in game 1 from Anthony, but it was really just mana leak and Spellstunner Sprite.
Yep.
Right? Spellstunner Sprite doesn't stop Blood Moon on this board. There's not enough Faeries. Yeah, maybe you just run it out there. Easy to say because we can see Anthony's hand, but
yeah, Anthony's going to attack there with Snapcaster. No blocks from Spellskite. He doesn't want to lose it to just a Disfigure.
Right. Now there's a Cryptic Command that can stop a Blood Moon.
Yeah, it's interesting here, right? Because it's like Anthony's trying to play control. He's on the verge of it, but he's actually behind on board a bit here.
Well, Cryptic Command can counter something and bounce Spellskite, then you Slaughter Pact Etch Champion.
I think Etch is still going to be protected.
Oh, you're right.
So I don't know how he's going to deal with that Etch Champion. He might have something out of his board. Let me take a look here. Got some counter squad. Okay, he does have 2 Damnations. Oh, he's got 2 Hercules Recall on his board, too. Okay. And 2 Engineered Explosives, though I don't think he can make a 3rd color, but he's got a Sower, which doesn't get it done. No, he is ready for this. There's no doubt about that. He needs to draw some of his sideboard cards, though, at some point here. Yeah, it's pretty nice here for Anthony. He's able to hold off the Etch Champion currently, thanks to Mutavault.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long he can do that. I guess he does have 2 Mutavaults. Okay, that's business. Yeah. So Anthony's in. He's even, I would say, right? I wouldn't say he's ahead on board, but he's not behind. So this is actually going to work out pretty well for him. Slaughter Pact does kill Spellskite. And he's just going to leave up Cryptic for like the rest of the game, it looks like. Yeah, this looks pretty good for Anthony now, right? Taking out the Spellskite means he can actually pick off individual threats like the lands. There's a Steel Overseer. That's an issue. That might actually get that Cryptic out of Anthony's hand here. And just the ability for the Overseer to make a whole bunch of potent threats, especially with the Inkmoth Nexuses, those work too. So yeah, that is going to earn.
Oh,
Stubborn Denial. Gosh.
Nothing is 4 power, but
Yeah.
nothing needs to be.
Now he's tapped out, so he does get to get in there once, but Steel Overseer is a major issue. All right, well, there's Dismember off the top, though, for Anthony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he can keep that threat at bay and still keep up Mutavault. So this is
There's still that Blood Moon in Aaron Webster's hand, too, by the
yeah,
way.
that's the interesting part.
He's been
now.
still rolling. There was a window where Anthony did not yet have Cryptic Command mana, where Aaron could have resolved it, but he was worried about mana leak.
Mhm.
And it's so huge on this board. I mean, not only does it color screw Anthony, at the time Anthony's lands were all non-basics, but it also turns off the Mutavaults, which Anthony has been leaning on as his Etch Champion defense.
Yeah, Anthony actually runs 5 islands and a swamp. He's also got a Ghost Quarter on board, so he can go get a swamp or another island.
If it's untapped when the Blood Moon resolves, yeah.
Exactly.
Just
But I
before
think
the Blood Moon resolves, technically.
Yeah, and I think the key here, though, right, is that if he can stick Blood Moon, it does turn off the Mutavaults, and that should clear the way for the Etch Champion.
fires a Dismember at that Overseer. Can't let it get champion out of Mutavault block range.
There's a mountain for Webster.
Players in Modern Masters number 4, Seal number 6, Modern 63 and 64.
Could go for Blood Moon here, but Anthony has whittled down Aaron to just the 3 actual artifacts. He's going for Blood Moon.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Anthony use his Ghost Quarter here
He should, right?
on himself. Because he's going to activate a Mutavault, which is going to prevent an attack this turn. That's smart. And yeah, he absolutely should, especially given how many lands he's drawn this game. So he's going to Ghost Quarter his Watery Grave, and then he can either get his second another island or a swamp.
I would guess
Swamp would make
swamp is
sense.
better.
Yeah, for sure. He's got 4 more islands in his deck besides the one on the table too. And Aaron says, "Okay, does Blood Moon resolve?" Now, Randy, do you know what happens here if a Blood Moon resolves after Mutavaults have already been activated?
I believe there's an effect turning them into 2/2 creatures that lasts until
Okay.
the end of the turn.
That's how I understand it too.
They're currently 2/2 mountains, I believe.
And I think that's what Aaron may be asking here as well. Do they go back to being just basic mountains that aren't creatures or not? And I think they don't.
They are basic mountains, but there's also an effect turning them into a 2/2 until the end of the
Yeah,
turn.
that's how I see it too. All right, well, now they're mountains. No longer 2/2 mountains. So Anthony has some operational mana here. He's got 1 island, 1 swamp, and a bunch of mountains. Let's see if he can get it done. I mean, he is playing cards like Cryptic Command, which are, going to be off the table for quite a while. Oh, there's a cranial plating.
Wow. Hedge champion wearing a cranial plating. Gonna be a problem.
This is an issue. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 6 damage. Yeah,
Feel
this
like
one could be over.
Anthony talked me into the way he played the opening. Like, those Mutavaults were good enough at playing defense.
Yeah.
He was able to keep all the
Me
Steel
too.
Overseers at bay.
Totally.
Like, I kind of buy into his line. But yeah, he could have taken the set champion way back at the beginning and been squaring off against, an Overseer here that probably just would have won the game faster.
I don't think so. I mean, he had one. I mean, he already killed 1 Overseer. He's boarded in a lot of removal. It's a Vault Scourge. It's lethal. Yeah, that's it. Aaron Webster wins. He is 12-0 here, and the last undefeated player. Anthony Huynh with his. I like this deck, by the way. This Faeries deck is cool.
Yeah.
But he does pick up his first loss here.
You got to respect the all-foil Affinity deck, too.
Indeed.
The 12-0 all-foil Affinity deck that now gets to play 3 win-and-ins.
Not bad at all.
3 win-and-ins. The only way he misses top 8 is if he goes loss, loss, loss from
Yeah,
here.
I would say we're pretty likely to see at least one Affinity deck in the top 8 here. Blood Moon is brutal.
Yeah.
Man, the games when people bring that in, it is so nasty, that card. It's really good against Alex's deck. I doubt Andrew can get away with bringing in Blood Moons, though, in a Jeskai
With
deck.
Jeskai? Yeah, no, I don't see that
Can't do
happening.
that. But let's see what he can bring in. Well, he's got 3 Dispel. I would expect to see those. He's got 2 Crumble to Dust. Don't know if that gets the job done, but it very well could. A Ghost Quarter.
Alexander has a Summer Bloom on the stack. If Andrew has the ability to counter this, I think he just should.
You just should, yeah. Like a Spell Snare or something like that.
Mana Leak. Because now this 1 bounce land can make 6 mana.
Players in standard number 14. Please make your way to the side of the gathering area.
Comes into play tap. Trigger to untap. Tap it for mana. Pick it up with its bounce something ability. 3rd time around, pick up the Gemstone 9. And here's Primeval Titan.
All right, well, that was a good game. I don't think I've ever seen anybody beat this. I mentioned it earlier, but when they actually get the Titan resolved,
Right.
I don't think I've seen anybody beat that. Was he going to get a Pact of Negation here?
Or a backup Summoner's Pact.
Looks like he may be getting a Cavern. Nope, Pact of Negation.
And he does have the ability to pay for it next upkeep.
So he's going to protect his Titan.
Don't think he's super worried about... Oh, there is a Tech Edge. Like, Tech Edge on Growth Chamber would make it impossible for Alex to pay for the upkeep.
Ooh, I
trigger
like
on a
that.
Pact.
He's got Cryptic Command, but he just didn't use it before.
Crazy. Really?
I would assume that you would Cryptic the Titan.
Yeah, same. He chose not to. He's using it end step to bounce Growth Chamber and draw a card.
I mean, that does set Alex back, and it takes the Pact off the table here, effectively.
Right.
This is interesting. Let's see what Andrew's line... He clearly has a plan for this turn. Maybe a sweeper of some sort. Well, his sweeper, he has one in the main. It's Supreme Verdict, so he wouldn't care about the...
He says go. Okay, here we go. Upkeep Path to Exile. That makes more sense. He's also got a Ghost Quarter, by the way.
I see that.
Ghost Quarter on Golgari Rot Farm is kind of a big game here. I'm pretty sure
I think you just snapped that
Alex
off.
has one basic in his deck. Does he have more than one basic? These decks tend to have
I think they have
a forest.
two.
Okay, Alex has had two.
Yeah, I think they have two forest main normally. Let me double check that for you, though.
I mean, a lot.
One forest main, one forest board.
There you go. I was
That's
going to
your
say
answer.
one forest main is what I've typically seen. Now, don't you just Ghost Quarter Rot Farm here? How many basics can Alexander have?
Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Get that thing out of here. Nice strip mine. So that worked out really nicely for Andrew using the path. That gets the forest out of there. Then he can clear the way and strip mine away the...
You know, and if I'm Andrew, I'm actually mildly surprised at the path turning into a forest.
Yeah, totally.
Forest in the sideboard. So he let Primeval Titan resolve, and it's kind of worked out.
It has. Is he going to be the first one that I've seen, at least, defeat a resolved Primeval Titan?
Right, Alex even got Pact of Negation instead of Summoner's Pact.
Yes.
Like if he'd gotten a backup Summoner's Pact, he could just replay another Primetime. Well, not quite yet, but I think this turn he'll be at 6. Could have been at 6 if he wanted to.
I mean, without any commentary on the players here, I'd love to see an Amulet Bloom deck lose after getting a Titan on the battle. Just let me know that that dream exists.
Just want everybody to be playing out 10 percenters rather than no percenters.
Give me some hope. Deck's really good, this Bloom deck. It took a while for people to come around to it, but after it did well at the Pro Tour and got into the hands of a lot of the professional players, all of a sudden everybody's like, whoa, this deck's just straight up real. Uh-oh, Hive Mind. This is going to be big problem here for Andrew if he can't deal with it almost immediately, or actually just while it's on the stack, probably.
Andrew can pay for a Pact of Negation should Alex give him a copy against
Yeah.
his will.
Yeah, which is a little tricky for Alex, as he does need to find something to point it at. It's the one pact he plays that you can't just run out there.
Yeah, if he has 2 packs, this is lethal.
Here's Snapcaster for Cryptic.
But doesn't look like it's going to resolve.
Yeah, there's... Swan Song's the only thing I think that Alex can bring in out
Pact
of the
of
board.
Negation.
And the pact itself.
He has the Swan Song.
But he wants... Yes, he does. Yeah, because
No Cryptic Command.
prefer to keep the pact to be able to
Of course.
try to win the game with it, but...
All right, so Hive Mind resolves.
And
he's
there
got
we go.
a Summoner's Pact, which he can then... Yeah, no way for Andrew to pay for Summoner's Pact. Pact of Negation doesn't even matter.
That was super interesting. I thought Andrew's line was really cool in the middle part there where he bounced the land and set up the
It still
thing.
doesn't work, though.
I know.
Sorry.
Keenly aware. Yeah, I was hoping maybe we'd see it once, but no, not a chance. And Alex just calmly switched gears into Hive Mind mode and killed Andrew with that.
Ooh, Sam Black.
All right, so let's play our replay match here.
He's on Lantern, right?
Sam is on Lantern.
And he's still in this thing. He's 9-2. His opponent is on Naya Company, is David Lynn. Uh-oh. That was quick. Lantern into Codex Shredder already.
Why is it going so fast?
I mean, they're still playing, so
Okay.
we're going to try to
Can
catch
you
up
let
to
me
the
know?
live game.
Yeah, we're catching up to the live game. So they're still battling here. So what we're doing is we're going to turbo up to there. So that way, instead of just jumping in, we give at least a little bit of a context for it. I think this is the preferable way to do it. Sam had some tough ones in the feature match yesterday, but it looks like he's just been grinding.
Yeah, he picked up 2 losses relatively early, right?
Yes.
But hasn't lost since. Did successfully get to day 2 and is 2-0 so far. Coming into this. This feels like it should be a good matchup for Sam as long as he can find an Ensnaring Bridge quickly. That's the lock that essentially shuts down the creature deck. I guess the issue then is
The issue becomes
how many
burn
Kasali
spells.
Pride Mages.
Yeah, and also that right there. You see the best threat.
The 0 power Noble Hierarch that can still attack.
That's the threat that matters after he gets a bridge
You could block that with Spellskite.
Sure.
Collected Company. That's interesting.
And I think he just, Wow, look at this. Ensnaring Bridge on top of the library, and he just took away, he just surgically extracted the Kasali Pride Mages.
Hello.
From David's deck. There's another Noble Hierarch. Well, I got to say, I like the way that things are shaping up for Sam Black here. Drawing that Ensnaring Bridge should be pretty close to locking things out, though. Is that a Collected Company on the stack?
Yeah.
Probably 2 irrelevant cards.
Well, he does get a Hierarch, so a pair of 0 power attackers that can attack under an Ensnaring Bridge, but getting them big enough to beat up a Spellskite is going to be a challenge.
It's a tall order, especially with the with them gone. Yeah, that was interesting. So he ghost quarters away.
Would you like to go get a basic land out of your deck and then shuffle it, Sam?
And then shuffle
No.
it, and
No,
Sam
not so
declines.
much.
Yeah, Academy Ruins is something that Sam would be interested in keeping, but after taking away the Pride Mages, I think he's pretty solid here on not losing that bridge. I would guess that David Lynn doesn't have a way to actually destroy it in the main deck outside of the Pride Mages. Let's take a quick look, but should be safe. Ooze, the Pride Mage, of course. Yeah, no, it's just sticking. So I think you can just book this, like, unless Sam's at very low life total. Even then, Spellskites do pretty
Knight
good
of the
work.
Reliquary does get into a fight with a Spellskite.
Oh, a that was the only Dromica's command. There's a Path to Exile, which kind of needs to go away.
Yeah, Sam had milled a previous path, which is how the Dromica's command actually got into David's hand. Kind of you need 2 good cards in a row a lot of the time. Although in this case, Sam's at what, 3 mill rocks? That's Zach Elsick terminology for you.
Is that what he calls them?
Yeah, mill rocks.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, unless Sam's at like 3 life, I would say Sam's like 95% or something to win from here.
Yeah, I'll take the over on that.
Yeah, it's just David just doesn't have ways to interact at this point since Sam has stripped them all away. I gotta say, I still just find this Lantern deck so cool. I know it's like not perhaps the most exciting deck as far as, you know, action
but
on
the
the
fact
board.
that there's a
but
prison deck in the meta, I'm with you. It is kind of cool that
so
there's a prison
cool.
deck in the meta.
And I love how it attacks on all these angles, right? Like, you just go through this mental checklist when you play against this deck, and you're like, well, what if no, they have that. Well, I can definitely, no, they probably have that, you know? And it's like, you look at the combination of the Spell Skite, and then you think about cards like Pithy Needle that Sam has access to, and you look at the Surgical Extraction, which is just a card that you would just never want to play in the main deck, you know, and it took out the only things that really matter at this point, which is things that kill Ensnaring Bridge, and there's just none left. And look at the board state for David Lynn. I mean, he's got, you know, 70 power on board, and it just does not matter. And there we go, Academy Ruins as well, which means he can start using his Pyrite Spell Bomb. And he is in full business mode here. Pithy Needle as well. Probably named Knight of the Reliquary, I don't know.
David's fighting this like, I'm going to keep shuffling my library until a good card is on top. Oh, wait.
He's trying. The problem is he just had 3 lightning bolts milled in the last, like, you know, two or three turns. And
The
those
other
are
problem is that
probably
there's-
his last steps, and even then Spellskite blanks them.
Right, there's 5 mill rocks on Sam's side. How are you ever going to shuffle a good card up to the top enough times in a row to survive 5 mill rocks?
And the funny part is that the deck attacks from the other angle, which is that it's taking away the relevant cards kind of from underneath you, and then also milling them off the top if you get them. I don't think I think he had no relevant spells left. I think he had actual 0. Because bolts didn't matter anymore anyway.
Well, 2 bolts can kill the 1 Spellskite that was blocking the
but there
Noble
was
Hierarch.
3 bolts in the yard.
I'm just saying, there was 1 Spellskite holding off the Noble Hierarchs. That was the angle he was closest to attacking.
That was it. But I think at that point he was actual on nothing. And once again, Spellskite's going to come down, probably do a little blocking, and a Welding Jar can keep it alive if need be. And there's a bridge, though. Sam still has quite a few cards in hand.
Right.
So it's not quite active yet. It's not like just resolving it gets the job done. Sam still has some work to do on emptying out his hand. Scavenging Ooze and another Goyf. So Sam really needs to just dump his hand on the table here if he can. Sun Droplet there too?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that was
And
Mox.
Sam's, is he down to 1
I
card?
think he's down to 1. That was Mox Opal, Spellskite, Sun Droplet, land.
Well, mission accomplished as far
well,
as dumping
hey,
the
the
old hand.
Tarmogoyfs are only 1 power. They can still attack.
Is it just
3/1
land
power
right now?
Tarmogoyfs. Not kidding. Oh no, there's a black card in Sam's library. Sam's graveyard.
Ah, yeah, it looks like a...
That's this turn. He just inquisitioned.
He inquisitioned. Just to get it out of his hand.
Hey, and to pump up the Tarmogoyfs to 2 power.
True. Yeah.
Sun Droplet gets back all the life of those Tarmogoyfs. All the hard work done by the 1 power Tarmogoyfs has now been undone by Sun Droplet.
So now the question becomes,
Yeah, now we're in
how
Staring
much
Bridge
longer
lock.
can David Lynn take it?
Well, no, look, there's no Lantern right now. So he can actually just draw an answer to Ensnaring Bridge.
That is true.
However much artifact destruction.
The problem is there's 2 Welding Jars.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just like every angle you hit, right? And
I'm just saying he's not locked. Like the soft
That is
lock
fair.
of Lantern plus a way to mill relevant cards off the top, which is kind of a lot closer to a hard lock than a soft lock, but we'll call it a soft lock.
all right, so
Not in place.
he's approaching soft lock. What would you say his percentages are at the moment?
Well, okay, second is Staring Bridge.
Second is Staring Bridge, double Spellskite. He is down a jar now. I mean, Sam has backup plans for his insurance policies here. He's just... There's a Grafdigger's Cage as well.
Which turns off the back half of Ancient Grudge.
Indeed.
I don't know what else it does, but it definitely turns off the back half of Ancient Grudge in this matchup. How many anti-artifact sideboard cards does David have?
Let's take a look here. So he's got an Engineered Explosives, which is interesting. Blood Moon, too late for that, right?
Yeah. I think anti-artifact is the way David should attack this matchup. Now, obviously,
I'm not seeing anything else here. He's got 2 Stony Silence.
Oh, 2 Stony Silence?
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything to Ensnaring Bridge.
No.
Does he not run Ancient Grudge?
No.
Wow.
That's it. Sam Black wins. Looks like
Yeah, the getting fed the creature deck when you're on the Ensnaring Bridge Prison Lock, it's a good matchup for Sam.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best ones, especially the heavily creature-based version of Zoo like that, where they're trying to get you with Nicodles and Knight of the Reliquaries. It's just not good at all. All right, that's going to do it for round number 12 here from Pittsburgh.